Welcome to Tamara Lynette Tales. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars. Married at First Sight Boston, Season 14, Episode 17, Decision Day. So Dr. Viviana, Pastor Cal, and Chris shared these behind-the-scenes shots from the taping of Decision Day. So we finally made it to Decision Day. I wish I could say that I was on the edge of my seat rooting for these couples, but unfortunately, we've mostly been shown the ugly sides of these relationships, which made it very difficult to see a reason why they would say yes. And by the way, Dr. Viviana made what she calls a big announcement the day after Decision Day. She's going to be co-hosting couples retreats, and her first one will be in Mexico in October of 2022. Now, the rumor is that she's no longer going to be an expert on Married at First Sight. Not sure if this is why, or if this is a gig she picked up after learning she's no longer going to be on the show, or who knows, maybe the rumor's totally bogus, but I doubt it. Anyway, in this episode, they seem to make the couples pretend like they don't know whether the other one is going to say yes or no. While there may be a few people in the history of this franchise who didn't share their decision with their spouse ahead of time, I don't believe for 1 second that these particular couples didn't have deep discussions on what their answers were going to be. Dr. Viviana was very excited about Decision Day and was on Instagram and Twitter to answer questions and speak her speak. Here, she explains why the experts were so emotional throughout the episode.
Hey, everybody. I can tell that you are watching this show, the Decision Day episode of Married at First Sight. And I want to just clear up something real quick because people are talking about the fact that we're crying so much. So the truth is that we talked to them for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And during that time, we go through so much of their relationship, and we talk because we want to make sure that they feel confident in whatever decision that we're making. We're not going to rush them through it. So I just I wanted to let y'all know that oftentimes you're going to see us crying, and it's very heartfelt, and it's because of the way that they're talking about their ups and downs in the relationship. Some more ups, some more downs. So, we might seem like we're being a little overly sensitive, but the truth is it's just a really big day. And for all of our couples and for us, it means so much. So, we're not crazy. We're in our feelings. Thanks for watching, guys.
Now, the fact that these conversations lasted hours and we only saw about 7 minutes of them chatting shows how incredibly edited these scenes really are. I will share more video comments from Dr. Viviana throughout this video. Now, Jasmina said the first month they didn't connect or speak. 2 times she felt like she was ready for a divorce. Now, I thought it was interesting that she said that they didn't speak for an entire month, given that all we heard about for an entire month was her complaining about his alleged tone. Now, Jasmina shared a little story about Picky palming her butt in the middle of the night while he was sleeping. There was an entire conversation or analysis of the butt touch, like a Bootygate investigation. Dr. Pepper said, "We're all on the booty train here." This felt like I was watching nuns trying to explain sex to people who have sex on a regular basis. The experts were so intrigued and embarrassed at the same time, blushing, giggling, struggling for the right words to ask Jasmina if she felt like it was okay for him to touch her butt. She said, "Butt." Now, Pastor Cal talked about it being a good thing that they are friends and asked Dr. Viviana and Dr. Pepper if they were friends with their spouses. And Dr. Viviana said, "Yes, I'm friends with my spouse." And Dr. Pepper said, "On a good day, I'm friends with mine." All right, Dr. Pepper, we are learning a lot about you and your little marriage. You don't live together, and it sounds like y'all may not even like each other. When it came down to their decisions, Jasmina said because she felt like she didn't know Picky well enough, it's a yes for her. She wants to stay married. Picky feels if they try to build their bond without all the cameras and the show, they might be further along than they are now. So he wants to stay married too. Now, this is the only couple that surprised me with their decision. I've never really felt like Jasmine was ever physically attracted to Picky. Now, since they say they are not going to live together after decision day, though, I have a feeling they're going to struggle. Keeping in mind that this will be her first time having a serious relationship with someone who does not live in another state. She's going to have to learn how to include him in her daily life, and she has a male roommate that will probably be in her ear about Picky, and he has 2 female roommates who will probably be in his ear about Jasmine, and being that both of them have roommates, it may be challenging for Picky to touch her butt again. She said butt.
Our first couple has made their decision. I am not telling you what's going on and what has happened, but I hope that you're tuned in to Married at First Sight.
Now, Katina talked about how much fun they have and laugh together, and he talked about how she brought Italy to Boston with the gondola ride. Now, I hope the experts corrected them and it just got edited out, because they are both sitting there reminiscing about their gondola ride. Dr. Viviana talked about them not having sex and how it affected them. He mentioned that when he was in the shower, he would let her take a peek at him. Now, Tootie, did you let her peek or did you flash her? Come on now. He says he wants to travel twice a month. Now, where in the heck is this man's rule book on marriage? I love to travel, but traveling twice a month, 12 months out of the year is a tall order if you're not retired. But if you have an open schedule like that, go ahead and get on that bus and hit the road, Jack. While Katina was talking about having children and it possibly being in 2 years or maybe 3, depending on where they are in their lives when the time comes, they showed Tootie looking down and kind of saddish. Now, I've learned not to trust those reaction shots because they tend to edit these segments to keep us guessing. He may not have been reacting to this particular statement when he made that face. As for Katina's cooking, Tootie said that he wants a wife that will make sure that he and his kids will be fed when they come home, and that the last meal she made was not edible. Katina, girl, I've been trying to have your back on this, but honey, there are way too many recipes on the internet that are too easy to follow for you to be struggling with flavors up in that kitchen, girl. And Tootie, regardless of what type of wife you want, you should be able to feed your kids as well. If for no other reason, every now and then, Katina will come down with the flu or something like that will put her out of commission. You should be able to step right in that kitchen and whip up something for your family at any given moment. If you don't want her feeding them takeout, you shouldn't feed it to them either. Now, Katina feels like they will overcome their timeline differences when it comes to kids and stuff, and their relationship will only get better. Therefore, she wants to stay married. Tootie said, "When I came into this marriage, I asked for a woman who was more established in life, and that is the reason why I would say no today." Ouch. He got very emotional and mentioned that particular day, decision day, was his dad's birthday. His dad passed away in 2008, by the way. So he's crying, Dr. Pepper's crying, Pastor Cal takes off his glasses to cry, Dr. Viviana gets choked up, Katina's grabbing him and hugging him. So he said he'd rather be with someone who doesn't have anything, who will try to have everything, than to be with someone who has everything but doesn't show effort. Therefore, he wants to stay married. Now, their conversation that we were shown anyway with the experts, once again, was about the type of wife Katina could be when it comes to fulfilling Tootie's needs. We have gone this entire season without hearing what Katina needs from Tootie.
Can we talk about, you picked someone who is admittedly a player. Didn't that make you worried? So there were a few other people who we have worked on and matched in MAFS who had fun, active, single lives. I would say probably a lot of them did. And I think if you've ever known someone in your own life who has been a player, players can settle down too. You know, I won't name names, but there has been other people that were also admittedly players who did a great job of settling down once they were ready to be married, which they proved to us before casting and before matching and before all that. So yeah, that doesn't really I mean, you can tell because I did talk about it in the matchmaking special that I was concerned about these things, but that doesn't make it true. Just because I'm concerned about something doesn't mean that that's exactly how it's going to play out.
Noisy thanked Steve for comforting her when she's upset and for allowing her to feel safe with him. But we didn't hear him thank her for the same because we all know that Miss Sassafras over there has a temper on her and her little facial expressions. She talked about him wanting to be able to ask her to do stuff around the house. She feels like it's not fair for him to expect her to be able to do everything he wants because it's never going to be 50-50, right? He said he feels like if he's cooking, cleaning, and doing things around the house, he should feel free to ask her to do things too. And remember, in one of the episodes, he mentioned that he contributes more financially as well. Now, being that they're living for free, I guess he's referring to groceries. She feels like he should do things without thinking twice about it. And when she does things for him, she does it because she loves him and doesn't expect anything in return. Now, if he's doing the majority of the cooking, cleaning, and financial responsibilities, what else could she expect in return? He says that he wants to feel like there is some type of balance, that he's not doing everything. And I just don't get how this is even an argument. If she were married to Tootie, she would have been kicked to the curb like 86 times by now. As for not having a job, he said it does kind of hurt his feelings when she brings it up because it makes him feel like she doesn't believe he's capable. Now, I mean, if by now she truly believes that Steve is a deadbeat, she needs to either abandon ship or accept it. As for their decisions, Steve said that they stay up all night having deep conversations, and he feels very comfortable talking to her, like without being judged. So it's a yes for staying married. And Noisy said that they still have things they need to work on and that he may still have some trust issues with her. Yeah, you and your little Instagram. But he does trust her enough to take the next step. Therefore, she would love to stay married. Now, I would have liked to have seen Noisy mature a bit more during these 8 weeks. Based on what we've been shown, the problems they have from the beginning are the same problems they still have in the end. Mark said that the last couple of weeks, Karen has learned what he likes to eat. And she said, who knew that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach? Okay, like everybody. She let it be known that she thinks social media is fake with all of the filters and selfies. And apparently he has said negative things about her on social media, like through private messages or something. She basically put him on notice that everything he says about her will eventually end up in her hands. When it came to his decision, Mark said that she pushed him more than he has ever been pushed before, and that he has grown a lot, therefore he wants to stay married. And then Karen pulls out what looks like an easy button out of her pocket, like setting up a joke. She said he might not be who she wanted in terms of adventure and food, but he is genuine and kind, then presses the button that says yes, 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 yes. I mean, this couldn't have been less romantic if she tried. To the confessional camp, she said, Mark is not everything I asked for, but he's everything I need. They decided to move into Mark's family's house and renovate. Mavs fan was able to grab a couple of pictures of the renovations they made. Kind of night and day from what we saw a couple of episodes ago. Now, for this couple and all of the couples for that matter, we really didn't get to see them organically enjoying each other, having fun conversations, and really see what they like doing together as a couple. Since we didn't get to see those good times, it's difficult to understand why on earth these people aren't running off this show, like yelling and screaming for the exit. Like, get me out of here. Later, we see all the couples gather. Chris and Hostage are there. Remember Hostage? They make what seems to be a producer, choreographed, calculated entrance after everyone else settles in. Hostage said she hasn't spoken to Chris at all and claims the last time she saw everyone is when they went bowling. But I believe that's the last time she saw everyone together. I think she's been on that rooftop hanging out with some of the cast during the season. Now, Jasmina says to the confessional cam, Hostage walks in like it was her ex-husband's funeral. Not sure who wears a sparkly club dress to a funeral, but okay, do you, boo. After her departure from the show, Hostage says that she was disappointed that things didn't work out like she wanted them to, and she's been having a good summer. Chris said life has been more calm without having to stress all day and having to push through things, like slight dig at Hostage, and that he has started dating again. Then they all go around the circle and each couple shares their decision as if none of them knew. These folks are friends now. They live in the same building, they have group chats, and they have each other's phone numbers. I suspect that the cast knew what each other's answers were going to be before the experts did. So these announcements and little reactions were staged for the camera, if you ask me. Anyway, Tootie announced that they finally had sex, I guess the night of Decision Day. I still don't believe it was their first time, but okay, good for them. Steve presented Noisy with a blue ring pop as a callback to their wedding day. Then he told her that he got her a second ring and pulled out a ring box and opened it like a hand model doing a jewelry commercial. I mean, the name of the jewelry store was more prominent than the ring itself. Clearly, this ring was gifted to the show by the jeweler in exchange for product placement. Anyway, Noisy was so stinking happy. She was ugly crying, snotting up and everything. I'm sure all the men were low-key mad at Steve, like, thanks a lot for doing this in front of our wives, because now they're going to want a ring, and we don't have a jewelry sponsor. All in all, as difficult as it was to root for these couples, this may be the most successful season ever in terms of Decision Day yeses. 4 out of 5 couples said yes, but I have a feeling that the reunion special will be a different story and not so happily ever after. As for the season, I've said it before, but I feel it's worth repeating. I believe the storytelling needs to improve. There is way too much focus on their conflicts. Not only does that make the episodes feel repetitive, but in the end, when the couple say yes, we as the audience are left wondering why, because we haven't witnessed the good times that they had outside of the forced group events. We tune into this show to see if it's possible for strangers to find love by being in arranged marriages, and want to see a full picture of their journey, like their good times too. So anyway, next season is in San Diego. Now, I went to San Diego State, so I'm looking forward to seeing that city that I used to live in on TV, and fingers crossed that my state, California, will help get this show back on track.